To the first episode of the Eat Smart, Work Out Hard show. I am your host, DanaSimone. I am so thrilled to be here. I'm thrilled that you're here. This has been a long journey, but this is the show that we've all been wanting. This is what we've all been waiting for, this show right here. Now this show ain't gonna be like some of the other ones that you watch. You know which ones I'm talking about too. This show is for everyday women who need, not want, who need practical tips about fashion, fitness, beauty, health, travel, time management, and of course my personal favorite, weight loss transformations. So as the show goes on, as we do more and more episodes, we're gonna get so close and so intimate, and I'll affectionately refer to you as my Transformers. Why? Because I guarantee you, somebody at the end of each show will change their life. I'm a firm believer that when you know better, girl, you will do better. So today on our lineup, we got some good people on today. I'm going to be chatting with the fabulous esthetician ZiZi Check. She's going to talk to us about eyebrows on fleek. Yes, y'all know these eyebrows are getting out of hand. The trend is ridiculous. I don't know where some of these people are reading these shapes and sizes. I don't understand. But have no fear. Yes, ZiZi is here. Next we will have the wonderful OBGYN, Dr. Laura Pineiro. She's going to talk to us about exercising while you're pregnant. And yes, she's going to squash all the myths that you have as to why you don't think you can exercise while you're pregnant. Yeah, she's going to get rid of all those excuses. So take heed to that. And last but not least, we will have the inspiring Miss Tanesha Williams. She's our ultimate transformation story for today. She's going to tell us how she lost 100 pounds and how she kept it off. Yes, absolutely. Great lineup for today. All right, I'm so excited. I am just way too excited. So I'm going to go calm myself down before I overdose on excitement. But don't move, girl, I'll be right back. Welcome back. We are back for our Ask the Doctor segment. And my first guest is a native of Puerto Rico, but she moved to the United States when she was 15 years old. While she was in high school age, she moved to the United States. She graduated from the University of Illinois, Urbana in Champaign. She also got her MD from the University of Illinois, Chicago. Her residency, she also did in Chicago, good theme here, at Mount Sinai Hospital. Dr. Laura has been an OBGYN for 11 years. She is employed by Northwestern Medicine, and she practices at Del Nor Hospital in Geneva, Illinois. She has 2 great kids, Mario, who is 21, and little Lori, who is 13. She also has a cat named Mittens. I throw that in because I too have a cat that I'm kind of fond of. So please join me in welcoming Dr. Laura Pineiro.
Hello. Hi.
Well, thank you for being here.
Oh, thank you for inviting me.
Thank you. It's the first segment of our show, so we have many of our viewers who I call transformers. They are pregnant and they have questions. Some of them might have got pregnant around January, New Year's Day, you know how that goes, or Valentine's Day, which makes them about 5 or 6 months long. So many of them were wondering, you know, 1 or 2 things, that either they should stop exercising or should they not exercise at all? Should this not be a function or anything that they do at all? So they sent in their questions to ask the doctor. So let's talk to the expert, and hopefully we can put all of your fears and concerns to rest. So back in the day, women were advised to either stop exercising altogether or to just cut back. But nowadays we see that's completely the opposite of advice that we're given. The American College of Obstetricians and Gynecologists says that being physically active during pregnancy contributes to a better pregnancy term and even shorter labor times. So what are your thoughts about being active while one is pregnant?
I completely agree. It's interesting enough that it was in 2010 that we started seeing those changes. You know, the American College of Obstetricians and Gynecologists published an article that talked about all the different recommendations and the contraindications and how we should counsel our patients as to stay healthy, and they were promoting the health benefits of exercise during pregnancy, which wasn't seen prior to that.
Wow. So that's good. It's always good. They always send out these medical reports and they give us great insight. But then nonetheless, there's always myths that continue to plague fitness and pregnancy and whether or not it should be done. So of course, that leaves a lot of women confused and ill-advised as to what they should be doing physically while they're pregnant to try to maintain good health and fitness during that time. So I have a few statements that I want to pick your brain about, and then you tell me whether or not it's fact or myth and why.
That sounds like fun. Let's do this.
Fact or myth? Pregnancy can make you more prone to certain fitness injuries.
Fact. We know that there are 2 hormones specifically, estrogen and relaxin, that the body produces while you're pregnant. And these hormones are really good at working with the ligaments, and they relax the ligaments so that when you're in labor and you're about to deliver, the pelvis can open up and provide more room so that the fetus can get through. But what happens with pregnancy itself is that throughout the entire pregnancy, it can also increase the risk of injury to the joints. We know that the ligaments are what usually sustain and protect and support our joints. And if the relaxin relaxes the ligaments, then they're at a higher risk of being more mobile, therefore they can cause injury. In addition to that, with pregnancy, women usually gain a significant amount of weight. Even if they're exercising regularly and eating healthy, we know that women are still going to gain at least 20 to 25 pounds throughout their pregnancy. That increase in abdominal girth actually changes the center of their balance, and it causes them to shift forward a little bit. And that in itself can cause injuries to the knee, to the pelvis, and that's why people complain of pelvic pain, back pain, and sometimes even knee pain as they're carrying the pregnancy through the 9 months.
Or 10 months in my case. And she said 20 pounds, you'll gain about 20 pounds. I gained 60. Yeah.
Well, that's why we recommend if you're eating healthy and you're exercising regularly, we can cut that down and keep it at 25 to 30 pounds.
Yeah, I missed that article. Fact or myth? Not every exercise is safe to do during pregnancy.
Fact. there are some exercises that are kind of dangerous to do while you're pregnant. We talked a little bit about the difficulty with balance and how you can easily fall and cause an injury. So we usually recommend patients to avoid any kind of exercise where they might lose their balance and fall, just because pregnancy itself can increase their risk of falling already. Another thing that we don't recommend is we don't recommend any contact sports, just because we don't want to have any direct abdominal trauma to the abdomen that can cause problems with the pregnancy. Something called an abruption, where if you have an abruption, the placenta can separate and that can cause vaginal bleeding and even fetal death, so it's dangerous. So we usually recommend them to avoid any contact sport. In addition, we also tell patients that we don't recommend scuba diving. And also, if they've moved to a new area where the altitude is greater than 6,000 feet, we recommend that they get accustomed to living in that area first before they start exercising regularly. Just because we know that the oxygenation levels in the red blood cells decreases a little bit in that at that altitude, and it can decrease the oxygen that they're getting through their blood vessels to the baby.
Okay. And so squats and lunges.
Squats and lunges, the reason they're kind of, sometimes people say that you can't do them is just because of the joint issue. If the joints are already relaxed and more at risk of causing an injury, you can do a lunge, but just not too stretched out. And when you do squats, don't go too far down.
Okay.
And the other one is abdominals. You always hear not to do crunches or abdominal exercises when you're pregnant. The reason being is we just don't want you to be in a supine position. We don't want you to be lying down on your back. We know that when you're lying flat on your back, that decreases also the oxygenation because it decreases the blood flow to the placenta to the baby.
Okay. Okay. Well, this has been great. Great. Thank you, Dr. Laura. Please thank Dr. Laura for joining us today. Transformers, remember to talk with your doctor first before starting any exercise program. This can be dangerous, but then it can also be healthy for you. It's a win-win for you and the baby. So please consult your physician first. If you have more questions for myself or for Dr. Laura, please send those in on our Facebook page, DanaSimone Show page, or tweet us at ShowDana on the Twitter account. We'll answer those questions right after the show. In the meantime, go refill your cucumber water and fill up your bowl of veggie chips. We'll be right back. Don't go away. All right. Hey, all right. Okay, Transformers. This is the moment where the mic is hot. Where you have sent in questions that you would like me to answer. Just quick questions that you will have in your mind. I'll give you a response. It's not my professional response. I'm not highly qualified in a lot of these areas, but you're asking me from my personal perspective. So we'll get right to it with some of your questions that you sent in. Let's start with this one. If your man has a work party that he wants you to attend with him, and he doesn't care for the dress you came downstairs with, would you change the dress? That came from Terry. So let's think about that. It's your husband's job. And you're going to his work function, and he doesn't like the dress you're wearing. Of course you're going to change that dress. The reason being is that it's his job, which means that he wants to set some kind of good impression. And if the dress that you're wearing is inappropriate or he just doesn't think it fits the culture of where he works, then yeah, you should definitely change the dress. I'll give you an example. Back when I was married, my ex-husband, on our first date or our second date, he asked me if I would go to a work function with him for a new job he just got, because a lot of the executives were going to be there. He was making his first impression, and he called me and said, hey, would you go to this function with me, because I'm not afraid to leave you on the other side of the room with my new boss. Should I have been insulted? Absolutely not. I knew exactly what he meant by that. He knew that I would be appropriately dressed. He knew that I would be on top of current events in the event there was going to be some small talk in the room. It was that impression that he wanted to make as a whole, not just him personally, but the people that he hangs out with. So yes, definitely, ladies, change the dress. Don't be offended. It's not about you. It's about him and the culture in which he works in. That was an excellent question. Thank you, Terry. Next question. The older you get, should you wear more or less makeup? Because I don't really wear makeup. Okay, well, that's from Linda. So Linda, let me give you the perspective on makeup. Makeup serves various different reasons. Makeup is, some people think they're ugly, they want to wear makeup. Sometimes makeup is good for the camera. Like I have on a goo gobs of makeup just because of the camera and the lights. But just on a day-to-day basis, let me tell you one of the main reasons why makeup is good. Whether you're old or young, it has nothing to do with your age. Makeup serves as a layer to protect your skin. So the more layers you have of makeup on, that's kind of another layer or barrier that you're using to protect your skin. So don't look at it from, I wear a lot of makeup, should I wear a lot of makeup, I'm getting old. It really has nothing to do with that. It serves as a barrier. So if you should wear it when you're older or wear it when you're younger, it doesn't matter. Just realize that you don't want to wear too much of it. You just want to wear something that's going to accentuate you. Now don't wear it just because, everybody else is wearing it. Again, it's those trends that everybody shouldn't take on. So keep that in mind about the makeup. Just do you, boo. Next question and last question. This is from Lynn. Lynn wants to know, when should you incorporate weights when you're working out? Okay, Lynn, you should always incorporate weights when you're working out. The reason being is that women always think, oh, if I do weights, I'm going to get big, I'm going to look like a man. There are a lot of times that you could look like a man, but they're going to be under extreme circumstances when your estrogen and your testosterone levels start doing something funky and different. Your hormones start doing something different, but that's not what you're trying to do. You're just a common everyday woman trying to exercise, trying to lose weight, and trying to tone. Do I look like a man? No, I don't look like a man, but I lift weights every time I exercise. So just gradually increase the weights. You need to use the weights in order to really build the muscle. You cannot lose fat unless it doesn't have muscle to burn it, okay? So keep in mind, the only way you're gonna do that, not just by working out, but you're going to have to pump some steel, boo. You're gonna have to, all right? Keep those questions coming in. I truly appreciate it. 2 topics in the news that I thought were very interesting that came up just like last week. It was in Health Weekly, I think is what the article was. And it said 12 foods, fat-burning foods that we all should be eating. And everybody want to know what foods that we should be eating to burn more of our fat. So get a pen and paper because you're going to need to write this down. All right, let's start with kale. We have broccoli, avocados, Brazil nuts, chia seeds, throw them babies on some ice cream. They're not the most best tasting things. Salmon, blueberries, oysters, almonds, cinnamon, yogurt, and last but not least, lemon. Believe it or not, I pour lemon oil in my water every day, mainly for my skin because I have a dark acne, but it's also a good agent to help you lose weight. You know that, huh? Yep, those are the 12 things you need to know about fat-burning foods. And then the last article, I know, right? Yeah, I know, those are good ones. The last article that I read that I thought was extremely interesting was a 15-year-old girl who lost over 100 pounds, and she's been able to keep 100 pounds off. She's 15. So when she was in the 5th grade, she weighed 187 pounds, right? There are women who are in their 30s, 40s, and 50s that weigh that amount, and they're struggling with trying to lose that weight. Mackenzie Walker should be a very good motivation story for you ladies. She should truly inspire you with no excuses to truly lose that weight that you want to do. So she lost 100 pounds. She's kept those 100 pounds off. She has over 900,000 followers on Instagram. So she lost all that weight. Guess what? She struggles with some of the same things you probably struggle with if you've lost a lot of weight. She had a lot of excessive skin, a lot of excessive weight around her belly area. So what did she do? She went and got a tummy tuck. Cost her $9,000, but she did it. She's maintained this weight loss. She's still in high school, and guess what? She's done this because she said at 15 years old, I want to be Miss Olympia. Do you know who Miss Olympia is? That's like the world best female bodybuilder. That's who Miss Olympia is. And she's 15 and she wants to do that. Heck, I'm just trying to retire from the federal government in the next 12 years, let alone be Miss Olympia. So ladies, you can totally lose this weight, set some goals, figure out what it is, get that plan. She's 15, really? Come on. If she can do it, you can definitely do it too. I trust that you can. Start on that plan right now. Don't go away. We'll be right back. Our next guest, ZiZi Check. Welcome back, welcome back. We are up to our beauty segment and I am so excited. You all know I have been talking about this on social media for days and I just could not wait to get here to talk about this today. Eyebrows. We have got to talk about these eyebrows because ladies, you're getting a little out of hand with the eyebrows. It's been trending for months now. And I don't know what you're watching, what you're reading, but we need to address it because that's the kind of host I am. I'm your friend. I'm here to help you when you're doing wrong. Remember, when you know better, you do better. So we are going to talk to my esthetician. You all know me, and for ladies know me well, know that no one touches my eyebrows but ZiZi. So we're going to talk to ZiZi about how your brows should look, where this trend has come from. We'll also do a demonstration for you as well at the end so that you can just see a before and after picture of what brows should look like and how pronounced that they can be. So we're going to talk about that as well. ZiZi is a native of Chicago. She was born and raised here. She's Mexican Jewish. So she's ethnic, she's colored, so she knows a broad range of skins, complexions, brows, the textures, bone structure. She's a highly trained professional, so she knows all about eyebrows. So trust me, you're going to walk away from this with very good information, things you never knew. So get a pen and some paper so that you can take some notes and then you can get to this. So without further ado, please, everyone, welcome ZiZi to my show.
Thank you. And thank you, audience. Dana, thank you so much for having me on board.
Absolutely.
Awesome. Well, right. We are seeing a lot of action on the eyebrows, runways, on social media, brows on FLEEK. We're just going to be taking you through the whole gambit of it. We're going to give you a demonstration at the end. I hope you do take notes because we're going to provide you some information you may not have heard, may not have known, but you're going to come out of this being better prepared with a nice fashionable brow. And this is going to be able to take you through a couple of seasons too. So we'll talk about that too.
Absolutely. I don't know if you guys saw the Vine video. Her name is Peaches Monroe. I don't know where she's from, but she did a Vine, and this thing got 20 million plays.
Wow.
20 million plays, and it's only 6 seconds. But what she did was she left wherever she did to get her eyebrows done, and she got in the car. She was so excited. They looked so good. And she said, you know, whatever she said for a few seconds, and then she said, my brows are on fleek. It was hilarious. 6 seconds. I wish I could play it, but she also cursed in it, and this is a family show, so I can't play the video. But that just goes to show you the trend and just what's taking place with these brows. Now, I don't know why I'm reading that thick brows are in. I never knew they were out. I just figured if your brows were thick when you were born that you would just accentuate your look and just kind of tailor around that. But it's my understanding that thick one year, thin another time, but now we're back to thick. And I don't know if Kim Kardashian had anything to do with that because her brows are thick or whatever is going on. Rihanna, another person who has very great looking brows. Taylor Swift, also great on the red carpet. And even when they're on the red carpet, they'll say something like brows on fleek. Really? On the red carpet? What happened to the dress, the shoes? They're talking about brows now. And so you can tell just how popular it has gotten. But then a lot of people get bored. And then you start seeing these weird brows. And you can see some of these pictures that we're showing here on the screen. Some of these brows are horrific looking. Just take a look at some of these. This is crazy. Unbelievable. Some really drawing them up, curvy lines, just straight to the side. It's just unbelievable what these brows are looking like. But you can also tell from some of these photos that you can have a pretty good looking brow and that if you put the right kind of highlights, the right kind of makeup with that you can have a very distinct look. Now, there's one thing about the brows that if you don't have makeup or if you're not, if you don't want to put on makeup, if your brow is just the right shape and has just the right depth to it, you could walk out the door with just lip gloss or chapstick on. And I have done that many a day. And a lot of women won't walk out the door like that. But it's because of your eyebrows. So we're going to also do a demonstration so that you can see from a young lady who's never gotten her eyebrows done before. She has pretty thick eyebrows. She actually has a unibrow, and she's pretty, pretty hairy, just genetically. And so we're going to do a demonstration on her so that you can see a before and after of just what it looks like and just how pronounced your brows can be. Now, ZiZi, one thing I want you to discuss is when a person is getting their brows done, what should they do first? What should they consider before they actually sit down in someone's chair?
Okay, first thing first, especially here in our state, it's a requirement that anybody who's going to be removing any hair has to be a licensed esthetician or a cosmetologist. Well, the cosmetologists, they have passed that job along to us. That's about 25 years ago, we came into the picture. So all of that skincare needs to be inside of the care and hands of a licensed esthetician.
Okay, great, great. So get somebody who knows what they're doing. Again, not to say that your strip center mall places and whatever that you pop in and there's just these little quick duty-doos, they are probably okay. But you want to start off getting the proper shape of your brow so that every 2 weeks, if you do have to just jump in to a quick place to get a quickie of your brow done, you know exactly what it's supposed to look like before you got there. Because once they mess up your brow,
oh, you gotta wait.
Yeah.
You're gonna have to wait. And here's my point too. Girls, take out your pen. Mark your calendars when you want to go and have your brows done, because you want to give yourself at least a minimum of 2 weeks. Possibly even to 20, 28 days. When it's a little bit cooler outside, the brow grows a little slower. Our eyebrows, every one of those hairs, only lives 30 days. That's an interesting fact. So for those of you who have over-tweezed, there's hope.
and many of you have over-tweezed. I've seen you. Yeah, I've seen you. Stop. Just stop. It's getting hot, I'm glad, because now you're grow like a chia pet now. So you put the tweezers down, the tweezer man or whatever they're called. So keep that in mind. You want somebody highly trained. Give your brows 2 weeks before touching them, and that every brow hair follicle has 30 days of life.
That's right.
Imagine that.
Yeah. And then the other thing that you want to also know, because I've heard the horror stories, you be certain that you communicate with your esthetician. Let them know if you're using any of those anti-aging creams or especially prescriptions. And believe it or not, antibiotics, hydrocortisones, antihistamines, these thin the skin out. And when we're dealing with the eyebrow, that's like 1/48 of an inch. It is so thin, it's so frail. She lays that wax down and pulls it off, you're gonna tear. So be sure you know that you laid down the products for at least 5 days before you go ahead.
Okay, okay. Wow. Good to know. I hope you're taking notes.
Okay.
Let's talk about the shape of the brow. So when someone comes to you and at Universal Aesthetics by ZiZi, what do you do first? What are you looking at when they sit there? What's the process or the procedure that you're looking at their face before you even start getting that wax on them? What are you doing then?
We're first looking at the anatomy. The actual skull itself gives us our definition. And there's 2 rules I set out for all of our girls. Keep the integrity of the length of your brow and the natural weight line of your brow. And we'll go and demonstrate that at the end so that you could look at yourself in the mirror and see those 2 things. Because there are 3 skull types for the whole human race. This includes our men. So when we address that skull type, we're going to know the dimensions better. The classic, where all of us have heard it in the past, to take the line from the outer point of the nose to the corner of the eye and all the way out to the end, that's applicable for just one particular group. So we'll go in and you'll see later what we mean by that when we work on our young girl today.
That's amazing because you see that demonstration where they'll say, okay, do this, but that almost looked like it was universal, but it's one for each.
Yes.
She said there's 3 skull types, and then she said even for men. I guess that one skull type isn't hard-headed either, huh? Because that's not one of the 3. So great. So I'm glad you mentioned that about that one that you see all the time, whether it's on Pinterest or whether you see it in the magazine, that it is actually, that's just for one type of skull type. So you would need to know
Correct.
what yours is before you got started.
Correct.
Knowing the shape of that. The other thing too that I want to mention about ZiZi is that, and she mentioned the magazine, is that ZiZi is listed as one of the who's who among eyebrows in InStyle magazine. So she knows exactly what she's talking about in these different skull types that we all need to know about. So it's good. I'm glad she actually talked about that. So we're going to do a demonstration, like I said, on a young lady who's never done her brows before. And so we're going to do that demonstration. One thing I want you to keep in mind is that if you keep messing with those brows, you can have it botched up and you can look like our boy here. Just keep in mind, you can mess up too bad. Don't go away. We'll be right back. And as I mentioned before, we're going to use as a demonstration here a 14-year-old young lady here who's never gotten her eyebrows done before. Never got them tweezed, never got them waxed, nothing. So this is a virgin face that we're doing here. And ZiZi is just going to show you, she's not going to wax her, and that's for a specific reason that ZiZi will explain, but she's going to shape her face and her brows so that you can see just a distinction for someone at this age, because the young girls now, they're trying to do the brows as well, but there's a process and there's a timing of when that should actually be done. So stick with us, watch what's going on here, and ZiZi, take it away. I'll let you discuss this whole process.
All right. Well, welcome back, and I'm excited to introduce you to Destiny. And Destiny has not had her brows yet done until we shared this moment together. And Destiny, how old are you?
14.
14. Okay, great. Well, in our industry, one of the things that we want to look out for is age. Age appropriateness is a little bit of a key, because as estheticians, we want to make sure that we could grow with our clients. We have some of our clients 2 decades into families, and we could see hair patterns and recognize that. But as I have a beautiful brow with Dana, I'm seeing the same perfect thick brow in her daughter. We're going to show you at her age, and it's important to know that a gal, more so than a male, would have to worry about this, but you want to be 2 years into your menses cycle, and the reason for that is because there could be some damage that could occur in skin for scarring. Also, hair growth pattern could be destroyed, and that's one of those stories you hear some of the young ladies saying, that I tweezed my brows way too early, and the fact of the matter, it could have possibly been that very reason for that. So what we're going to do today, we're going to look at her brows. They're beautiful, they're perfect, and as you can see, she has a nice natural arch to her brow. But the thing that we want to do is actually work from 3 points in her brow. And we mentioned earlier that there's a point of ethnicity that has a bearing on this. So when we're looking at Destiny's brow, if we were to go all the way to her outer corner, we would lose so much of her brow that you would lose an expression to her. So what we're going to be doing is taking it around the lobe of her nose and come up and look at this territory to be an area, if she wants to clean, we could work on that area. The other thing that we want to look at is in a brow shape, it's not that you want to dig and carve out an arch. That arch is there. And the key behind it goes back to where we mentioned earlier. You want to look at the integrity of that person's length of the brow and her weight line. And her weight line is actually when she stares straight into this beautiful camera and your audience here. That's born from that same area we were talking about, straight up to basically where all of the white of her eye is. So we want to preserve all that front portion of her brow. And to look for that arch, what we merely want to do is go from the lowest point of the hair follicle to the top portion to the last hair. So we're going to go ahead and demonstrate that for us now. I'm going to take a tool. I'm going to first clean. And Destiny, you're not using any kind of medical creams from a dermatologist or anything, right?
No.
Okay, so we're cleared there. So we're going to wipe across both of the brows. I'm going to have you just slightly lean back. We already removed some makeup there. And there's a tool that has somewhat disappeared in time. This has been designed specifically, it's beveled, and it's for facial hair of the face. It's not like a man who would be shaving his beard or a mustache with. It's designed specifically for some fine hairs. So what's so beautiful about Destiny's eyebrows is the fact that it's got a nice arch to it. So the area that I'm going to be concerned about is taking off a secondary hair that grows just above that brow. And it's also that secondary hair that we see on our face sometimes. We call it a superfluous hair. It will grow back the same, like a structural eyebrow would. So we're going to bring her head up just a little bit. And it's very soft. You don't pull too hard. And see, we don't always have to be using wax. Sometimes that wax can leave such a sharp demarcation, and you look like you have a little halo up there in the brow. You're an angel, though, I know. You need the halo. Okay, so we're going to go right at that top half. I'm going to repeat the same thing on the other side. You feel a little tug there, Destiny?
No.
Okay. Pretty comfortable compared to waxing. And for the moment that you are on the table and you're deciding to wax either a brow or any other part of your hair, I would always suggest to exhale at the point of when that paper or that wax is being removed from your body. That will really help you relax for the process. Want to make the experience fun. Okay. There we go. And you know, this fine razor technique too, you're going to see some dried skin also coming off. So it's like an exfoliation, and that's what happens when you wax. You're actually getting a little exfoliation of that top layer of skin. Okay. And as I stated earlier, we're going to take the inner portion, and I'm going to lift your head and close your eyes for a second so we don't get anything drifting. And just very gently clean. Just a very soft and diffused look is going to achieve a perfect brow. We're going to get better definition on that shape with the use of some makeup, and I'm going to show you just how easy that can be done. Because you know, we still have a few graduations coming up and special events over the summer. Gonna look good for Father's Day. All of those. Yep. Okay. How are you feeling? Everything going okay?
Yeah.
Any discomfort of any sort?
No.
Stinging after effects? Okay. So we're coming along just fine. Okay, so for the bottom half, I'm going to go ahead and take our tweezer. And the one thing that I'll always tell people is that when you're using your tweezers, and I know you're using a mirror at home, one mistake often that occurs, I'll have girls that come in and their eyebrows, their hair follicles are going straight up like an antenna. And it's because often when you're looking at a mirror, you're pulling straight forward. You don't want to pull forward because that's going to move the way the root of that hair lies. So you'll see that when I'm tweezing, I'm going to lay my tweezer as adjacent to her skin, allowing that hair that's going to grow back in 30 days to be in a good position. Okay? So when I'm looking again, her lowest hair is not going to be disturbed here. We just have this little area here to work from. I'm going to work from the outside in.
She's such a trooper. 14. She's like, oh my Lord. Maybe she'll think beauty hurts and she'll never want to do this ever again in life.
Uh-oh. She'll be home asking
In my
for
dreams, right?
her first tweezer.
And if you all hadn't noticed, this is my mini-me. This is Destiny, my daughter.
Oh, beautiful. And the other thing that you want to not really do is disturb the way the hair pattern kind of grows. there's just the way it lies when it grows out of the head, and try not to comb it out of that position, otherwise it's going to have a little fight with you and slow down its growth. So just let the hairs lay down and grow out the way they come from the skull. So we're almost done here. You can do a tap out if you need a moment. You're doing fine. All right. Smile still on. All right, we have one.
Y'all look so serious.
Oh.
Intense. You're looking deep, like there's a climax to this. Like, what's gonna happen next? Relax.
Beautiful. The beauty's going to come forth. Okay, so we're just about ready here. And see, really, we haven't disturbed what she has as a natural, more of a crescent shape of a brow. And she could change this kind of crescent look by cutting down length of hair, creating a little makeup in certain positions. I'm going to just take one or two little hairs here. You feeling your brows coming in FLEEK? All right. And just a few more of these. And you'll see a lot of circulation around the area. Your head is second for your heart for the amount of blood, so don't be scared when you see all that flushness. It's going to go down. So we pretty much have, for a young girl, a very good shape without compromising her length or her weight line. So there we go with that.
Great.
Now, one more thing we can do is look at some of the tools that we can enhance an eyebrow. We're going to take a simple nude palette. And what you want to have for an eyebrow is a radiant eye. So we're going to take a little highlighter, and many people will think of the highlighter only to be on the brow bone, but that bone is a full socket. Let's take it all the way around. And you can see how easy, even with my finger, I could achieve that. And that just gives her a nice light. It will also tone down the redness when you're on a run. So we're going to get the other side. And take it for the full eye socket. That's creating a little what we call contrast, the light against the dark of the brow. That's very, very pretty. Now, when it comes to actually putting the makeup inside of the brow itself, what I tell my girls, you want to think about filling in flesh tones. And flesh tones are what's peeking between that hair. So we're going to just use a simple brown. And rather than starting from the very start of her brow, we're going to go right to where the height of her arch is. And you can see where that skin tone is peeking through. And now it disappears. And for the tail, this is often where people feel a little bit lost as to know which way the tail goes. A tail will typically always point to where your earlobe is. So you can put your earrings on as a lead. If you don't have pierced ears, just put a clip on and point it right to that point. That will help your arch look higher. And the other part where we see her skin tone coming through is going to be really at the base of the front portion of her brow, because we said that we wanted to always leave the lowest part to the highest part to the tail end to create an arch. So you're going to see I'm also walking back to the front of the face, and the reason for that is because the eye socket, it leads in. We want to just put that right inside there. And just repeat as needed. And again, you're looking for where the flesh tones are really peeking through. And you can compare the two to that point. Mm-hmm. We're going to do it again on the other end. And And she could make the brow as arched as she wants because she has a lot of height. But to what's age appropriate or the occasion. All right. And a fun thing that you can also do with your eyeshadow, with your powder that you're using on your brow, you could also use it as an eyeshadow. Be very resourceful. I'm going to just tap my finger into my eyeshadow, and where the white of her eye is, and you're going to let you open, look straight ahead, we're going to take that little palette of color, and eyes closed. I'm just going to tap that lid where it's at. Eyes open, and that helps the accent and really define the eye beautifully. So we're going to balance that out. And that way it has a nice neutral palette because the tones of these colors are flowing evenly from the top to the bottom. It doesn't look overdone. And there we have a young lady.
Wow.
Ready for a moment.
Nice.
Thank you so much.
I don't know what kind of moment that is, but Playdate.
Playdates.
And ladies, keep in mind, she did not use a pencil. She was using powder to kind of fill that in where you're going to be using that brush to just smooth out that look. And so Destiny has a very clean look for her to go to the sophomore dance or back home to the living room or something, but that's about it. But if you don't have thick brows and you're struggling with trying to have some depth to your eyebrows, you can also get what's called microdermographics, and that's what I have gotten done to my eyebrows so that I keep the depth of color onto my eyebrows because I have adult acne, and so I use a lot of different products that will fade my eyebrows and like she said, that 30-day life of hair. But you can get microdermographics. Some people call it tattooing. And I just use it so that I keep the coloring, so that I don't have to fill with powder and use the brush. So that's something else that we can do too. I know it's time for me to get a touch up with my eyebrows. So maybe I'll record that and we can do another show where I can show you just how that process is done. But again, I hope this has been helpful for you guys. If you are looking to make an appointment right away with ZiZi, which you should, again, it's Universal Aesthetics by ZiZi at 1601 South State Street in Chicago. Her website is zizonstate.com. Thank you very much for joining us. Don't go away. We will be right back. All right.
When I think back to my journey, all I can think is I used to be a plus-size diva. I used to weigh over 350. Yes, I was almost 400 pounds. But it was a night in October 2012 that changed my life. Those two letters indicated that I could not read my weight on a scale. That meant I was OL, over the limit. And that night, I said, Tanesha, you have to make a change. I became an inspiration. I became a motivator. All because of healthy living. And in 362 days, I lost 100 pounds. So when I tell people that healthy living is possible, healthy living is real, I am that person. I am the person now standing in magazines. I am the person that can tell you that I lost 140 pounds with healthy living. So if you're ready to transition to healthy living with me, join me, because we can definitely make some changes together.
Welcome. Our ultimate transformation story for today, Miss Tanesha Williams. Well, thank you. Thank you for being here. Wow, your intro. That's an amazing story. That's an amazing story. So it sounds like October 15, 2012 was your tipping point day. That was the epiphany of your life where you said you were going to do something different.
Yes.
So that scale, OL, did it for you.
It was it.
What did you do next? Now you've looked at this scale, you realize I've never seen OL. I never even knew that it was there. So now you look at this scale and this has done this, and now what do you do next? What are your next steps?
So the very first thing I did, I cried. I sat on the side of my bed, and you know, that's when you try to figure out how did I get here. and I quickly just took that anger and that frustration, and I just used that to clean out my house. And I literally cleaned house. I went into the kitchen, the chips, the soda, the bread, everything, the juice, and I just said, it doesn't belong here. I don't need this anymore. And then from there, every day I was just praying. And the one thing I realized different about this journey is that I have a spiritual aspect to it. So I make sure I pray for strength, because it does take a mental aspect to it, and it does take strength to do it. And I need his help to get through each day, because temptation is real. And I would just make sure that I'm physically active. I'm conscious of what I eat, a lot of fruits, vegetables, whole grains, and I just think of it as a lifestyle change, no longer think of it as a diet.
So first you had to change your mindset.
Yes.
Once you got over the crying, of course,
Yes.
you had to change your mindset as to now this is something you're really going to do, this is something you're really going to pursue.
Yes.
Because it's real for you now. It became very real for you.
Almost
So-
200 pounds.
Wow. Yeah, that's incredible. So for the viewers and the ladies that are out there that are struggling with this, whether they've had an OL moment or whether or not they've had doctor's orders, what can they do right now to start making these changes? What are some of the things that you did to just now make this part of your life and not a diet, as you said?
Well, I'll give them 3 tips. The first thing is you have to want to do this. You can't think of it as a diet. You can't have an end date. You have to just say, this is for the rest of my life. So I think once you mentally prepare yourself for the future, it will definitely work. Yeah. The second thing is water. I never drank water before, and now I drink at least 100 ounces a day. So drinking water, it flushes your body, the toxins, everything. And then the third thing I did was that I just try to find fun ways to be active. When we think of losing weight, we always think of sitting in the gym for hours. And I can't do that. So I would go and get me some hand weights. I'll get a resistance band, go to the park, or go to the gym, or work out my house, and I would just exercise. Or simple things such as just get a hula hoop and just start hula hooping, taking a walk. We tend to think about active being treadmill. There's so many different things that we can do to just be healthy. And the last thing, fourth one, is just making sure that you just eat the right portions and eat a lot of fruits and vegetables. I can't go wrong with a bag of fruits and vegetables. So those are the things that I want viewers to understand. This is a lifestyle change. You have to want this. You have to realize this is what you need at the end of the day.
That's phenomenal. There's a part in your book that I have to share with the viewers that I love. This is the best sentence out of her book. It says, love you and success will find itself at your doorstep, ready to stay forever.
Yes.
Just like you said, it's not like it's an end date to your diet. This is something you're going to be doing for a very long time.
Yes, it is. And this is my success.
And that's inspiring. That is definitely inspiring. If you want to know more about Tanesha and her story, please purchase her book and also follow her on social media. Don't go away. We'll be right back. Yes, awesome show, Transformers. This is great. I hope you enjoy watching it just as much as I enjoy posting it. What took us so long? I could do this as my day job, I think. So did you learn something new? I definitely did. Let's see. I learned that I should exercise while I'm pregnant so that I can be transformed when the bundle drops out. And I need to keep my eyebrows on fleek as I cruise the Caribbean Sea. How about that? That's what I think. So if you know someone with a great transformation story, or you yourself would like to be on the show, please send me an email, send me a tweet, inbox me, whatever you can do. I like to hear from you. Now on our next episode, we'll show you the latest trend in makeup called contouring with who I call as the makeup genie, Olinda Forbes. You all may know Olinda. She has been traveling all over the United States because her makeup is just awesome. And then we'll have our ultimate transformation story with Janelle Boyd. She's going to tell us how she lost all of her weight from her living room and in the kitchen. Yeah, she never went to a gym. So that's going to be exciting. Oh, and as an added bonus, Janelle is also going to demonstrate the new eSmart workout card Daily Pump at Home video. So that's going to be awesome. You guys are going to love that video that you can stream from home and exercise anywhere that you are. Now people, I get lonely, so don't forget to follow me on social media. Please don't forget to do that. You can send us anything, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. We're on all of those. I definitely want to hear from you. So thank you again, Transformers. This has been great. See you soon.